All right, welcome back to Fourth and Goal. We've had our quarterback, running back, and wide receiver debates. Ryan, are you ready for the defensive players?
Hell yeah. Yeah. All right, here's the list. London Fletcher, Ed Reed, Champ Bailey, Jared Allen, and Brian Urlacher. What you think of that?
Brian Urlacher at number 5. I got him at number 1, followed by A.J. Hawk, Sean Merriman, Ray Lewis, and Darren Sharper. What you think of that?
How can you put A.J. Hawk at number 2? Okay, Urlacher, I understand.
Urlacher's on the list.
Urlacher's
He's gotta
on the
be up
list.
there.
I can understand and him being at number 1. I personally look at London Fletcher's history and the fact that he's probably the most underrated middle linebacker.
I think London
there is.
Fletcher, Brian Urlacher, a lot of people like that have the command of the defense, have the ability.
Yeah.
They should definitely be on the list. I didn't have Fletcher up there, but I can see why you put him up there. He
Yeah,
has
I
the
mean,
ability.
Fletcher is great, but no one gives him the credit for being as great as he is.
Speaking of not giving credit, Ray Lewis, nowhere on your list?
I think he's on the downslide of his career.
Well, you had
That's
Ed
about
Reed.
it.
You had Ed Reed, so I
Ed
guess
Reed's
that's your
much
balance there.
younger. He's a ball hawking safety. You can put him at punt return.
He's a good guy. I got to say, though, Ray Lewis has been around for so long, has the command, has been around like more
But
than,
he isn't
more than
going to
many
be
other
around
defensemen.
much longer, and who's going to be the command's going to be left to? And I think it's going to be left to Ed Reed to command that team, and that's just
Old
it.
versus new, I suppose. Here, I
Yeah,
don't know. What
old
you can say.
versus middle. I'd say new would be more Haloti Nada, the guys up front who are much younger.
Well, speaking of the
people
experience, there, I have Darren Sharper. You don't see him on your list.
I didn't
Leading
think
the
of
league in
Darren Sharp.
interceptions, multiple years. You got to give him something on here.
I
He's the only
gotta-
person in the secondary I have on my list.
Yeah, but you see, I have two. Reed is often considered the best safety. Sharper kind of bounces to back and forth, but I
Right.
did think that's a little bit because of the Vikings are still kind of putting the rest of their pass defense together. But I mean, Champ Bailey,
Good player.
That's the only word I need to say. 42 interceptions. I think he's only one behind Darren Sharper and has played what, 3 or 4 last year.
When I think of the Broncos' old defense, I think Champ Bailey, John Lynch. I got to say he's definitely deserving of being put on the list.
Now here's my issue. Hawk Merriman. Hawk way too young.
We've been having this argument all day versus all these young people. I still think they show so much potential coming into the league and showing off their first 1 or 2 years, all this ability. I got to put them on this list. They can't be that low.
I can't because
Pro Bowler.
He wasn't in the Pro Bowl.
He deserves to be.
I won't argue that, but there are a lot of young players who deserve to be. Merriman's my biggest issue.
That's a Pro Bowler.
3, 4, or rush linebackers are so overrated. You look at the Pro Bowl, most of the outside linebackers, with the exception of Julian Peterson, and are 3, 4 outside rushers, and it's all system that gets.
So what's
them
your
most of
argument
their
for
sacks.
Allen then?
Jared Allen, pure defensive end, 43 sacks straight 4 years in the league. Led the league in sacks this past season. He's a stud defensive player on a team that does not have as many studs anymore.
And you're putting him above Brian Urlacher on your list.
I'm putting him there because I think defensive end is a tad more important than middle linebacker. Not so much from a leadership position, but from where you get.
Well, Brian Urlacher, number 1 on my list. Maybe because of the first name. I'm sure all Brians are just going to win all debates here. So we'll keep that on. And then I believe next we have our Hall of Fame discussion.
Yes, and I'm going to stump you down on this one.
We'll see.
Yeah, right.